Right now at noon, why a WIAA complaint has been filed against former Green Bay Packers head coach Mike McCarthy. And state officials are asking farmers to report their losses due to the rough winter. Plus, Michael Cohen returns to Capitol Hill a day after his explosive hearing, what the president is saying about his testimony.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at noon.
Hey everyone, I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now on this Thursday afternoon. We'll get to those stories in a bit, but first, let's head over to the Weather Center. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield has a look at your first alert forecast, the last day of February.
Is it? Is it really?
Finally.
I think we have to double check that. It really won't feel much like the start of meteorological spring tomorrow because temperatures are staying chilly for the first week of March, but I guess we can say goodbye to February with what else? A few snowflakes. Doppler track showing a few flurries moving into southwestern Wisconsin. Don't be surprised if we see a few snowflakes throughout the day, but they really shouldn't impact us that much, which is good news. Looking at mostly cloudy skies in the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville, so that snow not quite reaching the ground just yet. The air too dry at the present time. Temperatures are in the mid-teens in Madison, 14 in Lone Rock and Boscobel, and 18 in Janesville. Highs will be close to 20 later this afternoon. Wind speed's not too bad. They're pretty calm, so wind chills are not a major factor of this forecast. Your day planner as we head into the rest of today, highs, as I mentioned, a little bit closer to 20 degrees, and then we'll fall into the single digits once again to start Friday. And then the cold weather and a little bit of light snow are the two main storylines as we head into March. We'll talk about both of those more in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
I think I've heard this song before.
Yeah, exactly. It's someone needs to stop pushing the repeat button, that's for sure.
All right, we'll check back in a few minutes. Thank you, Dave. This just into the Channel 3000 Alert Center. The superintendent for the Madison School District addressed recent reports of racism in an open letter today. In the letter, Madison Metropolitan School District Superintendent Jen Cheatham called the recent incident at Whitehorse Middle School, quote, especially horrific, and said that the incidents of teachers using racial slurs this school year caused harm to black students, their families, and our community, and are indefensible. Cheatham announced several efforts underway in the district to address the issue. A new system for staff, students, and families to report incidents of racism or discrimination that'll launch this spring. We'll have more on this story in our later newscast and all day long on Channel3000.com. A town of Sun Prairie family is facing extensive damage to their home after an early morning fire. More than 10 fire and EMS departments fought the fire at 5332 Stark Road in the town of Sun Prairie for more than 3.5 hours early this morning. The Sun Prairie Fire Department says crews fought the fire from both inside and outside the building, but had to make a trench cut in the home's roof once the fire spread there. The Sun Prairie Fire Department continuing to investigate the cause of the fire, but they say it is not considered to be suspicious. Initial damage estimates total $150,000. The Red Cross is assisting the people who live in the home. A formal complaint with the WIAA has been filed against former Green Bay Packers head coach Mike McCarthy. The complaint comes after an apparent incident at a high school basketball game Tuesday night between Pulaski and Notre Dame Academy. McCarthy's stepson plays for Notre Dame, who lost by 1 point, ending the team's season. In a video of the incident, McCarthy approaches a referee after the game and quickly gets turned away. Officials with the WIAA say the complaint was filed, but the extent of the complaint is confidential. State officials are asking farmers to report losses due to large amounts of snow, extreme cold, and high winds as soon as possible. Officials with the Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection say farmers have experienced barn collapses, shed damage, and livestock loss over the past week. Officials are reminding farmers to report property damage to their insurers, including livestock losses. FSA has safety net programs that may be helpful for farmers who lose livestock due to the bad weather. A disaster designation in their county would also make farmers eligible for low-interest loans. Governor Tony Evers is releasing his first state budget to a skeptical Republican legislature, with many of his proposals likely dead on arrival and others unlikely to pass. without significant changes. Evers unveils his plan tonight during a joint meeting of the legislature. It'll kick off a months-long process of lobbying, cajoling, bartering, and begging over the roughly $76 billion spending plan that affects nearly every person in Wisconsin. It'll determine how much money goes to schools and prisons, the University of Wisconsin system and technical colleges, public assistance programs, and corporate tax breaks. President Trump is on his way back to the U.S. following the summit with North Korea in Hanoi, Vietnam. President Trump says North Korea wanted too much to end its nuclear program, so he walked away. Kim Jong-un was willing to make some concessions, including totally dismantling North Korea's Nuclear Research and Development Center.
The Yongbyon facility and all of its scope, which is important for sure, still leaves missiles, still leaves warheads and weapon systems. So there's a lot of other elements that we just couldn't get to.
The North Koreans were not willing to allow inspectors in to verify their steps to denuclearize. The leaders of South Korea and Japan say they spoke by phone with President Trump after the summit. Both say the president remains committed to following through with more talks in the future. And President Trump's former personal attorney, Michael Cohen, finishes up 3 days of hearings on Capitol Hill today with a closed-door session, a day after delivering damning public testimony to Congress about his former boss. Natalie Brand has the latest from Capitol Hill.
Michael Cohen arrived for a closed-door hearing before the House Intelligence Committee this morning, a day after he delivered blistering public testimony against President Trump.
He is a racist, he is a con man, and he is a cheat.
The president responded during a news conference in Vietnam Thursday, focusing on one aspect of Cohen's testimony.
He didn't lie about one thing. He said no collusion with the Russian hoax. And I said, I wonder why he didn't just lie about that, too, like he did about everything else.
Potentially more damaging to the president than the Russia investigation may be allegations of a campaign finance cover-up. Cohen presented a check he says President Trump signed while in office to partially reimburse him for hush money paid to adult film actress Stormy Daniels. Republicans are downplaying the significance of the payment.
I found that most people don't write checks if they think they're involved in a crime.
The House Intelligence Committee says the focus of today's hearing will be about then-candidate Trump's possible ties to Russia. The chairman says they also plan to follow up in depth on topics touched on yesterday. And there may be more bombshells ahead. When asked if there's other wrongdoing by the president that Cohen is aware of but hasn't been discussed, Cohen said yes. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And Cohen reports to prison in May to serve a 3-year sentence after pleading guilty to lying to Congress, campaign finance violations, tax evasion, and bank fraud. Fraud, that is. And there's more to come on News 3 at noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Whether you serve it over pasta or out of a crock, today's recipe is always welcome. And it'll make your taste buds very happy, too. Over the years, we've made all sorts of chili. Everything from chunky Texas style, which of course doesn't have any beans, to a blonde chicken version that's light and bright. And today, we're cooking up a big pot of chili that combines lean ground beef and some flavor-packed Italian sausage. And the results are nothing short of lip-smacking delicious. The first thing we do is brown some lean ground beef, along with a good amount of Italian-style sausage that we remove from the casing. After that cooks for a few minutes, we toss in some chopped onion and garlic and let that cook for a bit. At this point, we add a couple cans of kidney beans, crushed tomatoes, a small can of tomato sauce, and a bunch of spices. After this simmers for half an hour or so, it's ready to serve. Talk about a dish that'll warm you up from the inside out. Maybe top each bowl with some shredded cheddar cheese or a dollop of sour cream. Or hey, why not both? To get your hands on this flavor-packed chili recipe, simply visit our website and look for what we call Italian-style chili pot. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we have a chili-licious way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Right, Howard, thank you. There's more to come on News 3 now at noon. Up next, mostly cloudy day with a chance for some flurries later on this afternoon. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield has your first alert forecast when we come back. Let's check Wall Street at the noon hour. The Dow Industrials down 23 points. The NASDAQ, however, managing a 1.5 gain. The S&P 500 down fractionally. Let's check in now with Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee. She's in the radio barn on this Thursday. At least it's not snowing right now.
No, that's right. I was waiting to see how you were going to describe it today, because I know our language is definitely going to change over the course of the next 48 hours when it comes to descriptions. But yeah, so far so good. But I think we're going to be preparing ourselves in farm country to try to weather the elements as they're going to be changing. A lot of sub-zero temperatures that are coming back around, unfortunately, regardless of if we change the calendar page or not. So today, a couple different things the markets are talking about. We got our export inspection numbers this morning. The numbers are picking up. China is coming back into the marketplace ever so gently. Now they're talking about the transportation problems that they've got. High water levels up and down the Mississippi River are stopping our barges, and high barge freight rates are also something the market is talking about. Here at home, just a reminder that tomorrow is March 1st, and that is the deadline for people that want to try to grow or process industrial hemp in Wisconsin. I talked to Brian Kuhn, Division Administrator from the Department of Ag, Trade, and Consumer Protection. Quadrupled the number of applications they received compared to last year. 2018, we had about 350 people that got permits. This year, more than 1,500 have applied. And Brian says his crew is very, very busy just trying to plow through that paperwork. Not too many changes as far as the program's concerned. They're waiting for some guidance, which should come addressed in the 2018 Farm Bill implementation. But they did remove one hemp variety that will not be allowed to be grown in Wisconsin. That's a variety C4. What they found out last year is that traditionally constantly keeps testing higher than we allow for THC, and they said they're banning it so that farmers do not lose their shirt when it comes to the money that they'd give up just because of the variety. Today in Chicago, again, a quiet day. Barrel cheese unchanged at $1.41. 40-pound block cheese unchanged at $1.61. The AA butter up a half a cent today at $2.26.5 per pound. So there we go. Just a little something to think about. Spring planting of a different crop now on the minds of many, apparently.
Switch from butter to hemp, you and me.
I know. Yeah. Got to get that nest egg going for us here.
The clock's ticking here.
That's right. Quicker and quicker.
We'll see you later.
All right.
Dave Caulfield standing by now with your first alert forecast. Good afternoon, Dave.
Good afternoon, Mark. The clock is ticking on this cold weather, but I'm telling you, Mother Nature really wants to run out the clock on winter. There's still plenty of time left to get these cold temperatures and a little bit of snow as well. We're seeing some flurries across southwestern Wisconsin. I don't think a lot of that is hitting the ground this early afternoon, but don't be surprised if we see a few snowflakes throughout the day. Really shouldn't impact us all that much. Now, tomorrow night, that could be a little bit of a different story with some light snow on the way. Here's a live look in Madison on the WISC-TV Skycam. Maybe a little bit of sun earlier today, but the clouds have taken over. Similar story in Madison on the Edgewater Skycam. 16 right now in Mad City, 18 in Janesville, 16 in Watertown, and 14 in the Dells. Dell's still at 16, 14 in Lone Rock. There we go. 7 is the wind chill in Madison, so the wind not too bad today, but it still does feel like the single digits in some spots. And we're going to be wishing for the single digits, unfortunately, as we head into the start of next week. Alert days in the forecast for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday for near record and possibly some record cold on the way. I think we will break the record on Monday morning when wind chills are as low as -30 and temperatures are as low as a -10. So here is the kind of list of record highs and lows as we head into the start of next week. I think we'll be close on a couple of days, but really I think the best chance of breaking a daily record will be Monday's low temperature or Monday morning's temperature. That record set back in 1884 of -9. In the forecast, we have -10, and there are some spots that could go a little bit colder than that as well, depending on how the weather decides to set up on that day. On future track, we notice the clouds sticking around, a few snowflakes here and there, not out of the question for today. Highs will be near 20 degrees. Then as we head into tonight, another cold night setting up with partly to mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures will fall into the middle single digits above zero. Then that snow moves in just in time for kind of the second half of the evening commute on Friday. So I think the start of that commute won't be a problem in Madison, but don't be surprised if that light snow moves in later on into early Saturday morning. Right now, we're looking at another 1 to 3 inches of snow falling with that system. So nothing major, but just enough to cause some slick spots and cause some problems traveling later on Friday. Then up to the north and west, a little bit more of that snow is possible. So quick look at your 10-day forecast. We noticed the cold weather really sticking out right in the middle of this 10-day forecast. Alert days in the forecast for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday for unseasonably cold air, bitterly cold air, sticking around for the start of March. And temperatures look to moderate a little bit as we head into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, which is good news. Still well below normal, but we'll take the 20s over the double digits below zero any day, I think.
Boy, it's unusual for this time of year.
Right. I mean, it's not the coldest March temperature ever. That happened on March 1st when we got to minus 29, I think back in the 60s. So it's the data's a little bit skewed in that direction, but it's still pretty cold. That's to say the least.
Well, maybe some relief by mid-month.
Yes, maybe. When spring actually starts,
Who knows?
hopefully it comes around.
All right, Dave. Take care of that cold.
Oh, thanks.
There's more to come on News 3 at noon. Up next, Marissa DeGroot from the Dane County Humane Society is here with our Pet of the Week. We'll meet Piccolo, a senior kitty, when we come back. Marissa DeGroot from the Dane County Humane Society is here with our Pet of the Week. Hi, Marissa.
Hi.
Who is this pretty guy here?
This big handsome guy is Piccolo.
Piccolo.
And believe it or not, he is a senior gentleman at about 10 years old.
Well, he acts like a much younger than that.
He really does. When I first met him, he came right in with those head bumps right against my leg. Oh. And you can see he is
comfy?
Yeah, he is making himself just quite comfortable.
So, how old?
10 years old, a little over 10 years old, and he and his sister, who is also a senior, were surrendered to Dane County Humane Society. Now, they are good friends. They don't have to go home together. His sister is Chico.
Chico?
But if you are looking for a pair of kitties, they do get along very well.
Well, that's good to know. Mm-hmm. It's tough sometimes to break them up.
Yeah.
Because they've probably been together their whole lives.
Yep, yep.
And he's healthy and...
Yep, he is healthy, happy. We are going to get him a dental before he goes to his brand new home. But after that, I think he's just going to be a wonderful little lap kitty.
Yeah, he's purring away. Very comfortable here. All the commotion going on. That's a good sign.
Yep.
All right, your store's grand opening is this weekend.
Yep, so like we had been saying before, a thrift store is open, but we are having our grand opening celebration starting tomorrow, going through March 10th. We're going to have a bunch of great deals on things at the store, along with some charitable drawings. And on the weekends, you're going to be able to meet some adoptable animals, too.
This is the old location of your West office.
Yep, it is the location of our adoption center west, formerly over at Grand Canyon Drive. And you can see that right off the Beltline.
And it's not just animal-related items. It's a regular
it's a little
thrift
bit
store.
everything. Yep, we do have those used pet supplies, but we have clothing, house goods, a little bit of everything there.
Just like a thrift store.
Just like a thrift store.
All right, check it out this weekend. Specials going on. Last week,
oh my gosh, we had little Mario, and he got adopted. He had been with us a really long time, so we're so excited for him.
Oh, that's right. He was the old guy that looked like a puppy.
Yes, that perennial puppy face there.
Yeah, well, I'm glad he got a home. He is a great dog. All right, now let's get Piccolo.
A senior who acts like a kitty at home.
Pretty guy. All right, let's get him a home. Go to the website giveshelter.org for information on Piccolo and Chico, his sister. Don't ask. 838-0413, the phone number. Giveshelter.org is the website. Marissa, thank you.
Thanks.
Good luck, buddy. Hope you get home. All right, let's send it back over to Dave Caulfield with a final check of our forecast.
I really want to send Winter home right about now. I think that would be great. Maybe find Winter a new home at this point. Unfortunately, it's sticking around for the last day of February and for the start of March. We do have a few snowflakes trying to fall across southwestern Wisconsin, so some flurries possible throughout this afternoon. Shouldn't impact us that much, otherwise mostly cloudy with temperatures near 20, and those temperatures will fall from the low 20s into the teens into tonight and the overnight hours as we head into the next couple of days. About 1 to 3 inches of snow possible by early Saturday.
And then bitter cold.
Yes.
All right, Dave, thank you. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you back here at 4 o'clock. In the meantime, have a great afternoon.